Good evening, a warm and lovely spring welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight for another edition of Primetime News. I'm Salima Shimwe-Feleni. In tonight's top story, we begin with diplomatic matters. The ambassador of Cuba to Namibia, Sidenio Acosta, on Tuesday paid a courtesy call on President Dr. Hage Geingob to brief him about the activities the embassy has been undertaking to cement bilateral cooperation with Namibia.
President Geingob, in a statement by the presidency shared with the media on Tuesday, emphasized the need to continue to strengthen solidarity and cooperation between the two nations in order to advance shared prosperity. The head of state stressed that Cuba will remain a special friend of Namibia for the indelible role the Cuban people played during the liberation struggle of the country. Geingob said, "The Cuban people assisted Namibians to free themselves, and without any expectations, which is praiseworthy. The support for Cuba against external interference was a matter of principle, and Namibia would remain on the side of the Cuban people against the blockade." Ambassador Acosta carried a special message of condolences to Geingob from President Miguel Diaz-Canel on the passing of former Deputy Prime Minister Mako Hausiku, who died on 26 August 2021 at the age of 67 due to post-COVID-19 complications. Acosta is quoted as saying, "We thank you for the consistent support rendered by Namibia to the Cuban people in different multilateral forums, including through the United Nations." Geingob stated that the passing of Hausiku was saddening for many Namibians because the late Hausiku exemplified the values of unity, commitment, and service with humility. Providing an update about the efforts of the Cuban government to fight COVID-19, Acosta highlighted cooperation in urban planning and Cuban support to develop the medical supply sector in Namibia through manufacturing capabilities.
Shifting our attention to the courts, a case in which 7 opposition political parties challenged a decision by National Assembly Speaker Professor Peter Kachavivi to convene a special session of Parliament that approved the reappointment of Anti-Corruption Commission Director General Paulus Noah was on Tuesday dismissed.
Court documents seen by NAMPA indicates that the case was dismissed due to lack of urgency with which it was lodged by the parties. The parliamentary session was convened on 29 July 2021 following a 2-day sitting called by President Hage Geingob for Parliament to approve the appointment of Noah and his deputy Erna van der Merwe for another 5-year term. The same session had also approved the nomination of Chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Namibia and Emerentia Leonard and Jerome Rukambe as ECN commissioners. The parties that had lodged the case are Popular Democratic Movement, Republican Party, All People's Party, Rally for Democracy and Progress, Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters, National Unity Democratic Organization, and Southwest Africa National Union. The parties argued that the session was convened illegally and unconstitutional and therefore it should be declared null and void. Josephine Simeon, NAMPA News.
The National Federation of People with Disabilities in Namibia will soon usher in new leadership following its 2-day National Congress on Tuesday to elect a new National Executive Committee that will spearhead the Federation's aspirations.
Deputy Minister of Disability Affairs Alexia Nkobe, in her statement read on her behalf during the official opening of the National Congress, said the Federation is strengthening the efforts of the government to reach its short-term and long-term goals such as Vision 2030, Harambee Prosperity Plan 2, Sustainable Development Goals, and all other legal frameworks put in place to uplift the Namibian nation. She encouraged the Federation to carry on its work, saying it has an extraordinary responsibility to bring everybody on board, identify those who are not affiliated yet, and encourage them to join. Meanwhile, participants will during the 2 days deliberate on issues concerning persons living with disabilities in the country, review the achievements and challenges of the NFPDN, receive updates on projects in which the Federation is involved, as well as review its financial statements. Approval of new applicants for membership, amendment of the Federation's constitution, and the NFPDN activity plan will also be discussed during the Congress. A new chairperson, deputy chairperson, secretary, treasurer, and 4 other ordinary members of the executive committee will be elected by the end of the Congress on Wednesday. Josephine Simeon, NAMPA News.
In a bid to rid of the proliferation of unlicensed firearms, Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, Dr. Albert Kawana, has called on members of the public to surrender all their unlicensed firearms or ammunition to be exempted from prosecution.
Kawana made the call on Tuesday while launching Amnesty Month in Windhoek. He noted that the amnesty period will start today and end on 30th September 2021, a decision approved by Cabinet declaring September as Amnesty Month for the next 2 years. Therefore, Cabinet directed the Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security in a gazetted notice to ensure that the government legally keeps its promise that all people surrendering arms, armaments or weapons are not prosecuted but protected by law during the amnesty period.
Namibia must continue to be a beacon of peace, safety and security. Therefore, the initiative is aimed at achieving this objective. It is our experience that in most cases, those who possess unlicensed firearms, armaments and ammunition have ill intentions of using them illegally. And this you have heard from the detailed information of our Inspector General. Now is there a chance to benefit from the amnesty?
Inspector General of the Namibian Police Force, Sebastian Deitunga, at the same occasion said the government should be commended for its commitment of implementing African Amnesty Month, as it will encourage individuals who possess illegal firearms and ammunition to surrender them to police, as it is the right thing to do.
Allow me now to assure the public at large that the Namibian Police Force will welcome every individual to surrender all unlicensed arms, ammunitions, armaments, unwanted broken arms, and the related materials, without being criminally charged and arrested.
Stand by for your top roundup.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. See, James has always watched football wherever he can. Sometimes it got awkward. It was never really comfortable. And finding a good place to watch became more and more difficult, not to mention costly. Traveling for his games took its toll on James until he discovered something big. Now that James has GoTV, he can finally enjoy the perks of home ground advantage. Good for you, James. Get home ground advantage with GoTV. With superstar players competing in the world's biggest leagues and cup competitions, you'll be spoiled for football choice. So get and stay connected to GoTV for the best football season yet. GoTV. Love it.
Moving on to business and economics. The Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board has rejected free office space afforded to it by the Ministry of Trade, citing lack of parking space at the government office park. The board has instead opted to incur a 100,000 Namibian dollars rental bill for office space. More on this story by our journalist Edward Mumbo Jr.
The board, according to impeccable sources, also cited the location of the government office park, where the Ministry of Agriculture, Education, Higher Education, Urban and Rural Development, and parastatals such as Nampower are housed, as not being strategically located for potential investors. Instead, the board is spending close to 100,000 per month on office space at the BRB building adjacent to the Land Reform Ministry in the capital. Explaining why they rejected office space, the board's chairperson Nangula Wanja said it is not about requiring a lot of space, but making sure that it is accessible to investors. It has to be accessible and there has to be sufficient parking space. She further said the board intends to establish a one-stop service for investors. Since its inception, the board has faced stern criticism from the public, experts and politicians alike, with many questioning their entire existence, saying it is a duplicate of what ought to be a department within the Trade Ministry.
Moving on to continental development matters, African officials and experts have questioned the continent's economic growth and prosperity as the majority of the African population remains without COVID-19 vaccinations. More on this story by Xinhua.
This came during the latest edition of Africa's Recovery Talk series, which brought together the officials and experts who expressed deep concern about the continent's current vaccination status, according to a statement from the Economic Commission for Africa, a regional commission of the United Nations on Tuesday. Chairing the latest talk, the ECA Executive Secretary Vera Songwe noted that Africa's drive to economic prosperity goes through the COVID-19 vaccine. Only 2.3% of Africa's population of 1.3 billion has been vaccinated, with the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention targeting that 30% be vaccinated by December 2021. To achieve herd immunity, about 60 to 70% of the population must be vaccinated, said the statement, indicating that Africa has secured 400 million doses of vaccine to date, but the continent needs 1.6 billion for its people. Speaking on the occasion, Director of Africa CDC John Kongesong noted that health security is both an economic and national security issue. Another panelist, Kennedy Odeke, underlined the need to bring on board community leaders into the fight against the pandemic to achieve herd immunity in Africa. Josephine Simeon, Nampa News.
We'll be back shortly after the break.
Paralympic Games athletics action. And away we go.
It's a terrific throw.
She's strong enough.
And now Kerwa goes.
Oh, hang on a minute. This looks like a world record. Has taken the Paralympic gold in Rio.
What a move.
Roger is doing a terrific job in the bronze medal. She's broken the world record again.
He's got the gold medal. He's a Paralympic champion again.
It's time for the weather report, followed by the sports update with Joy Gosses.
Good evening and welcome to Sport Planet. We commence in Tokyo, Japan, where Namibian athletes qualified for their final respective events tomorrow. Johannes Nambala ran a qualifying time of 49.37 seconds in the T13 400 meter race. Nambala came in second behind Moroccan Angoun Mohamed, who ran a time of 48.52 seconds. In the T11 100 meter event, serial medal winner Anania Shikongo and his guide Evan Chiweo qualified for the final with a sprint of 11.33 seconds. Athanasius Gavelas from Greece was ahead of Shikongo. Moving on to regional football news. Tura Magic Football Club's dalliance with the COSAFA tournament came to a crashing halt when they were knocked out of the 2021 Champions League qualifiers. Magic lost 1-0 to Zambia's Green Buffaloes at the Kings Welitini Stadium in Nelson Mandela Bay, South Africa on Tuesday.
Magic fell to a sucker punch goal from substitute Anita Mulenga in the 88th minute when they failed to deal with a seemingly harmless cross which found Mulenga unmarked at the far post to slot the ball past the diving Agnes Kaudhu in goal for Magic. Magic played well throughout the game but failed to create any meaningful chances to trouble Green Buffaloes, while the Zambians looked threatening every time they went forward. Buffaloes created 12 goal attempts, with 7 of them on target, but managed to score only 1 goal, which was their first of the tournament following their 2-0 loss to Group B winners, Black Rhinos Queens on Thursday. Magic coach Tim Shongarero said his team learned quite a lot of lessons at the inaugural COSAFA Women's Champions League qualifying tournament.
Second half, we had a little bit of a chat with the girls. We regrouped. We came better, stronger. We created a chance. Unfortunately, we couldn't put it away. But that's part of the game. Sometimes you play good and you lose. Sometimes you play bad and you win. So today, I think we ended really on a strong, positive note. Unfortunately, last mistake there at the back, playing the ball backwards, and we created another chance for the opposition. So this is all about learning. It's all about the opportunities being created for the girls to grow and develop as footballers. And I think coming back, maybe next time, we'll be much stronger than this.
He added that the tournament is a good developmental program that will improve women's football in the region in terms of quality. The victory by the Zambians means they now go through to the semi-finals, where they'll face Mamelodi Sundowns on Thursday, with Black Rhinos Queens of Zimbabwe facing double action of Botswana on the same day in the second semi-finals. Magic, who opened the tournament with a 3-0 defeat to Rhinos Queens on Sunday, finished the tournament with 0 points and 0 goals scored while conceding 4 goals.
Your sports roundup is up next.
Welcome wherever you are on planet football.
You can go anywhere in the world, but nobody feels football like we do.
And they sing, they dare to sing.
It's a rhythm.
1-2. 1-2.
Football.
La football.
Soccer. 1-2.
That moves us.
Salah to settle it. There's no feeling like that feeling.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
Nothing compares to DSTV's unbeatable football offering, so stay connected to watch the best football on the planet.
With that, we have come to the end of tonight's bulletin. Thanks for tuning in. Do catch us tomorrow for Thursday's edition of Primetime News. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share, and click on the notifications bell to stay updated with the latest happenings locally and globally. Also, add your comments in the comment section. From myself and the entire production crew, keep well and good night.